The government says its plan to build a $1 billion LNG import facility will save households in the long run from skyrocketing power bills. Joining us now to discuss this and more, we've got our weekly political panel, National's Nicola Willis and Labour's Megan Woods, who is in for Carmel Sepuloni this morning. Kia ora, good morning to both of you.
Kia ora, good morning.
Kia ora, good morning.
Now, as luck would have it, Megan, you are the Labour Party's energy spokesperson, previously the Minister in charge. Now, the Prime Minister's saying if you don't support this facility, you don't support cheaper power. Is that how you see it?
Oh, that's absolute nonsense. What we have is New Zealanders being asked to pay a levy or a tax or a charge, whatever we want to call it, to the tune of $180 million a year over that 15-year period. It's $2.7 billion that will go into a facility that may not even ever generate any power. There are lots of cheaper options. This is putting a gas tax on New Zealanders at a time when they're already struggling with their power bills. The government hasn't released the modelling. They haven't shown us the alternatives they looked at. Imagine if we put $2.7 billion worth into something that actually generated like solar and batteries. So the Prime Minister cannot stand there and say this is about lower power bills for New Zealanders. This is about ladling a tax on New Zealanders' power bills each and every month.
Okay, Nicola, is this a gas tax?
No. What Megan Woods has just incorrectly stated is that New Zealanders will be asked to pay a levy. That is not the case. What we are proposing is that energy generators will pay a charge to support them having access to gas when supplies of renewable energy run low. And the only reason we are progressing this is that the advice we have received is that if they do that, they will then be able to pass on lower costs to households. And that's because at the moment in New Zealand, everyone pays a big risk premium for the fact that everyone is desperately worried that in the days when there's not enough rain in the lakes and the sun's not shining and the wind's not blowing, we do not have enough gas. And that's thanks to Megan Woods and her team who banned that gas exploration. Her only plan to deal with that was a $17 billion Lake Onslow project, which wouldn't have been delivered until 2038.
Okay.
We're putting a solution on the table, and frankly, Labour need to come out with their own.
This is a tax, though, isn't it? Even Winston Peters says it's a tax, and we've spoken to already Mercury this morning, I think it was, who's saying that will, certainly not ruling out that levy will be passed on to customers. So the New Zealanders are going to pay for this. This is going to cost households.
Absolutely. Every other levy is. Every other levy in electricity that is applied is passed directly on to consumers, to households on their power bills. So the National is kidding itself if they think the gentailers are just going to swallow this themselves and not pass it on. What Nicola said there is just absolutely full of inaccuracies. This government came in and they cancelled the work on how it was that we affordably stored energy for dry year risk, how we did get around removing that risk premium. It wasn't just Lake Onslow, they cancelled the whole work program. They're now scrambling and they are going for an expensive option that is going to be levied on New Zealand, taxed on New Zealanders each and every month on their power bill because this government has failed to do the work. And for Nicola to sit here and say with a straight face that the situation we're in with gas is because we ended oil and gas exploration, experts for a number of years have been telling the government this is absolute nonsense. This is not the case.
Okay, right, let's focus on what we've got right in front of us at the moment and this $50 a year savings being talked about. When would we notice that, Nicola?
Well, the LNG plant isn't expected to be built until around 2028. And what we have been advised is at that point, all the firms who at the moment are desperately worried, gosh, if we don't have enough water, we won't be able to supply energy, will lose that concern, be able to use their existing supplies of fuel more, knowing that there's backup if they need it.
So not till 2028. And in the meantime, we're still paying, the power bills are still loaded. I don't know if many people realise this, but our power bills are loaded with a risk premium that's built into the power bills already.
That's right. There's a significant risk premium, which Megan just referred to, which is about the fact that we know we don't have enough backup coal and gas for if we have what's called a dry year. And those are the years when it doesn't rain enough to fill up our hydro lakes. And we just know that we can't generate enough energy, which is why it's so
we're
reckless
paying
and
the premium. We're
to
paying the premium
oil.
and the levy at the moment. And then in a couple of years' time, 2028, we might see that premium go away.
So essentially at the moment, there's a big risk premium. And the advice we've received, based on the analysis of what will this LNG plant do, is that the reduction in the risk premium will far outweigh the cost to the energy generators of supporting the development of the LNG plant. We did all the analysis because we wanted to be clear that there would be more benefit than cost. And
Great.
the analysis
I
is
want to
very
move
clear.
on from this because we have other issues. But
Ingrid,
you're going to release that modelling, are you?
Yes, we will.
Yeah,
when will that happen?
Needs to be released really soon because people are calling into question the government's numbers on this. There are cheaper options. The government did not explore those. They are labelling on New Zealanders the most expensive option, and there's a reason they didn't release the modelling yesterday with all the other papers.
When do we see that, Nicola?
Well, that's a matter for the Minister, I expect pretty shortly. But let's just remember, Labour's decisions pushed power prices up. Our solution will save Kiwis money.
Unemployment figures out, 32,000 fewer jobs since you took office, Nicola. Is that your responsibility?
Well, it's absolutely our responsibility to fix the basics in this economy so that we can see more job creation and that unemployment number coming lower. That is why we are determined to keep that lid on inflation, to have interest rates coming down, to make it easier to fast track a project, to reduce red tape for businesses, to incentivise them with the investment boost tax credit. And what we also saw in that data, Ingrid, is that 15,000 more jobs were created in the past 3 months. New Zealanders are working more hours. More New Zealanders have achieved the confidence to say, actually, I'm going to enter the labour market and get a job. So those are all the signs the economists look to say, well, actually, we are confident in our predictions that unemployment will come down this year.
Let me rephrase that. Is it your fault that there are 32,000 fewer jobs since you took office?
Unfortunately, this is the result of an economy that was absolutely racked by a very high inflation period for more than 3 years out of target, excessive interest rate increases, which strangled activity in our business community. And we have been doing the job of cleaning that up and recovering. And actually, from the day we were elected, Treasury forecast that unemployment would be peaking around about now. So that was based on what Labor had done. And we've been doing the work of cleaning it up and fixing it up, and we are on track for that. But unfortunately, economies are slow-moving beasts, and if I had a magic wand and I could fix unemployment overnight, of course that would have been my first priority. But actually, what we've had to do is fix all of those underlying factors in order to get it
I'll get Megan to respond to that.
So, look, this level of unemployment doesn't just happen by accident, and Nicola and her government have to take responsibility for this because as well as the highest unemployment level that we've seen in a decade, we've got to also put aside the huge number of Kiwis who are voting with their feet and just leaving. So a lot of these people who have made decisions that they couldn't find the opportunities here in New Zealand because of decisions that this government has made. Things are getting harder, not better for people.
So what would be different under Labor then? Where are the jobs going to come from?
Well, I think one of the things that we've made really clear with the Future Fund is that is all about investing in local businesses. We've seen 3,000 businesses forced to shut their doors in the last year alone. We have a plan to actually back businesses.
What is the plan exactly, Megan? So which firms are you selling to create that revenue?
When we back businesses, then we do create jobs. What we've seen is this government who thinks they can just be completely hands-off, and we're seeing New Zealanders leave the country, but more heartbreakingly, we're seeing New Zealanders who can't either find work or find enough work. And I talk to people every day who are struggling as a result of the decision.
I'm going to respond to that because we've been very hands-on.
Just one moment. I just want to ask Megan quickly. A lot of those job losses were in Wellington. The public service has taken a hit. Would you hire them back?
Look, I think you just need to look around Wellington. You see how many people have lost their jobs. Of course, we're going to have to look at what we need to do to rebuild the public service, but I'm not going to make any announcements about what that's going to be today. But I think anyone who walks around Wellington can just see how many people are suffering here. And you look at the data as well, and that backs that up.
Yeah, well,
what did you want to say, Nicola?
That's just back to the bad old days of grow the public service, which every taxpayer pays for, reduce the productivity of the private sector, drive up inflation. But here's the thing I wanted to say, a very specific initiative that we've taken is fast-tracking major projects, and we have approved 9 of these so far. It includes things like big housing developments, quarries, that would have been caught up in court for years. That's supporting thousands of jobs, Ingrid. Labor opposed us doing that. So whenever we do actual job creation initiatives, which sometimes is about letting the private sector do its thing, getting out of the way, getting the bureaucracy and the red tape out of the way, Labor say, oh no, they wring their hands and say, oh no, we're very uncomfortable about that. So I think they're going to have to be more specific if they want to complain about job creation.
Ingrid, that is a ridiculous statement from Nicola. Of course, we had a fast-track system in place where a huge number of projects for the private sector did get consented and go.
So why did you oppose our
created
legislation?
jobs. We opposed your legislation because it abandoned putting environmental limits on these projects. It pushed those aside.
We need to move on. A couple of softer topics to finish with that have caught the imagination of us and our listeners this week. Touch typing. The Minister of Education was looking at the pros and cons of teaching that. Are you, Megan, start with you. Are you a touch typer?
No, I'm not a touch typer. I can sometimes muster more than 2 fingers though. Sometimes I'll stretch to 3 fingers.
Okay. Nicola, is it one of your skills, your flexes as it is for Corin and I?
Yeah, I'm pretty good at it. I remember being taught it at school, doing endless drills on typing on these sort of really old computers, the Avanti computers in the computer lab at school. So that was something I was taught. But to this day, I think if I'm studying something, I have to memorise some facts or some information for a show like yours. It's writing it down with pen and paper that seems to lock it in my brain.
Yeah, it's being able to read your handwriting afterwards. That's
the challenge.
And just very quickly as well, analogue, and this is the other theme, books or ebooks, Megan? Or do you get sick of reading in anything after all the reports?
No, definitely books. I've never been someone that's been able to read for leisure on a digital screen. There's something about turning a page on a book, doing the absolute crime of bending the cover back on a paperback to get more comfortable. So absolutely analogue for me when it comes to books.
On this matter, I'm 100% with Megan.
Look, we've found common ground.
Well, that's a good place to leave it. Appreciate both of you coming into the Wellington studio to chat with us this morning. National Nicola Willis and Labour's Megan Woods in for Carmel Sepuloni for our political panel this week.